commands are divided into 5 categories. Let's understand about the first category, that is the data definition language. Now, the data definition language, as the name suggests, it is supposed to define the way we want a database or a table to look like. We are going to also specify that how are we going to use it, and if need be, we may also delete it. So, data definition language makes use of these commands like create, drop, and alter. Let's look at the next category. We have the data query language. As simple to understand, it is just for the sake of querying. It is just asking questions to the database and asking what are the details within the tables. I want all the records from this particular table. And database is going to say yes at your command. So we make use of the select statement, or we also call it as a select query. Next, we have the data manipulation language. The data manipulation language again makes use of the commands that specify what details we need to cover and what data needs to be edited within the table. So apart from creating the table, we also need to add records into it. So we are going to make use of commands like insert. If we want to delete some thing within the database, I can use the delete. I can make use of the update in order to alter or to change the records within the database. Next, we have the data control language. Now, before speaking about data control language, let me talk of the previous 3 categories of commands. Now, in the previous 3 categories, that is related to creation, manipulation, and querying. So, those 3 are, again, we can say that we may use them most of the time. But the next 2 categories, that is data control language, and the next one, that is transactional control language, will be used in order to give some it is basically used to control and to make sure that there is security around my table. So data control language, it is supposed to ensure that there is basically some access that is given to the person who is basically under the purpose of using the tables. So that is why we make use of commands like grant and revoke. And the next category and the last one is transaction control language. So transaction control language again specifies that I want to ensure the integrity of my database. So say for example, if I am trying to add in some records via an app or via a client. So the client is basically going to be sending some records via a request. Now what happens is sometimes due to network errors or there are some connection errors where the connection could not be established with the server. In such cases, if half of the data was passed on to the database and half of it was not passed, I have to roll back the transaction. So in that case, I have to basically bring all the connection back to where it was originally at. That is where save point comes in. And we have commit. So these are the different keywords that are used as commands in my SQL language. So now that we know about the categories, that is data definition language, data query language, data manipulation language, data control language, and transaction control language, we can make use of these commands and we can understand how can we ensure that my database is interacted in a correct manner.